with your code, add different features. And another is where real live users are actually interacting with it. And the difference honestly could be detrimental. A development environment is a sandbox that developers can use to test out new features, can test out fixes to bugs before it actually is in front of an end user. The development environment is used for testing, debugging, writing scripts, updating new features. No actual end user sees the development environment, only the development team, testers, etc. see it. But there's no end user who is going to have a problem with you introducing a new feature on the development environment because they don't see it. Your development environment is like practicing a speech in front of a mirror. You're not actually in front of everybody versus you actually being on stage in front of everybody. You have time to practice, you have time to work on the different kinks and take certain things out of your speech. You're experimenting in front of the mirror versus actually being in person somewhere. So now this is where things get a little bit more serious. Your production environment. Your production environment is where you actually have end users. There's people who are actually interacting with the application. There's people that if there is a downtime, it actually affects them. There's people who notice when something new is introduced. That is the actual production environment. If there's something that breaks in your production environment, there's end users and customers who actually feel the impact of that versus your development environment. Your production environment is a lot more serious than your development environment. So because of that, your production environment needs to be stable and it needs to be secure. Whereas your development environment may not be as stable as your production environment is. So if your development environment is like practicing a speech in the mirror, your production environment is like actually giving the speech on live TV